So, moving forward, we have another panel discussion of the event on the topic Cybersecurity First Mindset, Security Awareness in Organizations. And due to unavoidable circumstances, Rakhi ma'am would not be able to join us today as a moderator. But we have Ruchi Balakrishnan, Security Awareness Content Specialist from CyberFrat, to moderate this discussion. And we have the esteemed panelist Rushabh Mehta, Senior Information Security Analyst, Rubrik India Private Limited, Vijayashankar Nagaraja Rao, Executive Chairman, Foundation of Data Protection Professionals in India, Dr. Abhilasha ma'am, BU Head, Cloud Security and BI, Cloud Dat, Mr. Kamlesh Singh, Head of Cybersecurity Program, Infosys, and Dr. Sunil K.R. Pandey, Director IT and Director UG from IIT Science. Over to you, Ruchi, and welcome to all the panelists.
Yes, thank you so much for the introduction, Bhairavi. So, hello everybody present here, to all the panelists as well as the attendees. A warm welcome to everyone to this Sunday afternoon. My name is Ruchi Balakrishnan, and I am a security awareness content specialist from CyberFrat. So, starting off, let me just give the introduction about today's topic. So, we all can agree to this aspect that we as humans strive for security in our life. We want to create that level of security, safety in not only the virtual world, but also in the emotional aspect, in the physical aspect, right? Or even in our personal lives, be it our home, family, belongings, or anything. We want to be free from any kind of threat.
Hi, Ruchi. Sorry for the interruption. Just
Yes.
quick 1 minute. I just wanted to check if Mohsin Abbas sir is also there in the call.
Yes, definitely. I
Yeah.
think Abhilasha ma'am is also going to join in some time.
Okay. Also, just wanted to introduce Mohsin sir. So, Mr. Mohsin Abbas is from SkillMine Technology. He's one of the head of cybersecurity over there. Welcome, Mohsin sir. Thank you. Sorry, Ruchi.
Yes.
And take it forward.
No issues, no issues. We have to definitely introduce the panel. Yeah. So, as I was discussing, that humans strive for the feeling of security in the personal life as well as in the professional life. So, what about businesses? What about the place that we are spending the most amount of time? Right, it is our workplace. How can businesses create this kind of security? As Robin Sharma said once, that everything is created twice. First, it is created in the mind, and then it comes in the reality. That same thing applies to our today's topic, that is cybersecurity first mindset, security awareness in organizations. So, cybersecurity first mindset is something which starts from the mind. Creating a cybersecurity first mindset is not an additional chore or activity. Rather, it's a prerequisite for individuals and organizations to adopt security measures before performing any kind of tasks or maintaining the business continuity. So, how do we create this cybersecurity first mindset? And how do we make this a part of our DNA and build a culture of cybersecurity in our organization? So, let's get all these questions answered by our esteemed panel. So, I'll be going up with the first question to Mr. Mohsin sir. Okay, so the first question, Mohsin sir, is that I want to know is, how does leadership demonstrate a commitment to cybersecurity?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, and first of all, thank you for this session, and it's really pleasure to be here. I want to extend my gratitude to the organizers for bringing up this for all of us together. And we have a lot of diverse group and experts are in this, right? And it's a great learning experience. Now, coming back to how does leadership demonstrate a commitment to cybersecurity, the speed at which the technology is changing, also the cyber threats are getting evolved, right? It is very necessary that a leadership should be a forward-thinking approach. So, some few points which it immediately comes to mind is like leadership should be a deliverable on, right? When I say delivery on, leadership needs to be prepared, act swiftly, and effectively when cyber incidents occurs. This involves having a well-defined response plans and ensuring necessary resources are in place to handle and mitigate issues promptly, such as advanced threat detection systems should be in place, automated response tools are in place, and to handle mitigate the risk. Next thing which I can think is on technology on, which is tech on, right? This is one of the very important thing, enabling the team with the right tool sets and the technology, which is very, very important. Leadership should invest in cutting edge technology solutions like zero test architectures, be it as SASE solutions, and some of the solutions that we also have around products like a WAN's link solution. We have like an intelligent SD-WAN solution which enhance the network performance as well as the security and enables you a real-time visibility of the network. Similarly, having a auth solutions, which is a very important identity and access management solution, which is leverages the MFA, the SSO, and adaptability access control protest against the unauthorized access. Right. The next should be an hands-on. The leadership. This involves in actively engaging with the cybersecurity teams, not with it only at the high level, understanding with them and understanding the challenges that the team faces and being involve them with the decision making. It is not just enough that you delegate the task. Sometimes leaders need to show their willingness to roll up their sleeves and tackle the problem alongside with the teams as well. The next is the mindset, as Ruchi, you have highlighted. The culture is very important. Yes, I stress on this. It is a fundamental shift in the organization culture. Where everyone has to prioritize at every level, be it from the boardroom to a end user. Right, leadership encourage every team member to prioritize security in daily activities and decision makings. This creates a culture. It's about the embedding security into the DNA of the organizations, making it an integral part of every process, decisions, and actions that we make. Finally, is the leader should be a futuristic on, which means during our previous discussions, many of us talked about the AI, the amazingness of AI, and the flip side is dangerous of the AI, right? The world is changing very fast, and technologies are getting changed. They need to leadership should be think ahead of emerging threats and how to prepare for them. Organizations are moving from hardware world to the software world now, like microservices, APIs, AI technologies. Everywhere we are using this now. So leadership should ahead of technology and think the cyber challenges that arises and secure organization in long term. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I think you actually gave this point that it's the leadership that actually takes things ahead, even if somewhere we have actually stopped focusing on something, or some form of traction is lacking in terms of cybersecurity. So thank you, Mohsin, to highlight that. I would ask Mr. Kamlesh the same, that how cybersecurity is actually strengthens when leadership is demonstrated and there is a commitment to go ahead with it.
So, if you're going to convince the cybersecurity, you can say leadership, you can say info security manager or cybersecurity professional role is the most important. How you are going to, represent your functions, right? So, for example, just I am giving, if you're going to develop any policy, right? How your policy, your security solution, your control, which you are going to recommend it, supporting business functions, because cybersecurity is support function, right? If you're going to advise any controls or you are going to advise any policy which become a hurdle for business, definitely you will get difficulty to convince, and you can say, you will get difficulty to get support from business and get difficulty to get support from board, because here talking about leadership, right? So leadership all about senior management here. So when you are going to provide any solution, you have to first understand what business want to achieve. That means what organization mission and vision, and according to this you have to provide security solution, right? So that means you have to make your own, you can say, your security strategy. you have to understand business strategy, and you can make your security mission and vision, and after that you can make your tactical plan which help to implement your operational plan, right? And also you have to understand the business language, so that it's easy for you to convince, because all you can say, in your leadership, some finance team is there, some HR team is there, they are not able to understand what you are going to talk, all technical jargon. So you have to simplify, and then you can actually communicate. Another things, just I am saying your strategic integration, that means it's look like every time when you are going to represent to board or your top leadership, you are actually supporting, you are adding value to the business, right? And when it will reflect, definitely you will get support, and definitely lead by example, because this is the most important, so that you will get, that means you will get support from our own team, right? Operational team, they don't know what you are talking. If you talk in business language, they are not aware. They know what is EDR, what is CyberArk, what is PAM, all solution. Yes. But how actually all these solutions actually adding value to the business, this part we have to communicate, and security professional role is most important.
I completely agree to your point, especially the customizing and making things simple for the entire organization, because definitely we are laymen, or whoever is working in the company needs to be taught about what the importance is of cybersecurity, but in a simple language, in a manner which is understandable. Completely on point. Now, let's get to the next question that I have, is that what regular cybersecurity training and awareness programs are in place for your organization? Kamlesh, sir.
Okay. So I always say, your security awareness completely depends on your target audience, right? If you're going to represent anything to top leadership about awareness, the content and your approach completely different. If you are going for general public, now I am talking about general public, means your all organizational employee, they don't know technical stuff, you cannot explain all technical stuff, right? So you have to prepare your content according to this. Definitely we have some, you can say, tools which are available, and I'm saying, Gaurav, fantastic tools I was actually observing for last 2 days, and you have to make such, you can say, your awareness session which create you can say curiosity amongst all, you can say, your attendee. And definitely after, because if you are going to serve anything which actually feel same thing every day, so what happen, we are human being, it's very difficult to us to convince, and you can say conceive all those content. So you have to come with different modes. In nowadays, in, you can say, industry, we have a different mode to provide awareness session. You can use anything like simulation, you can use email bombardment, you can do this every day, bulletin you can release, you can use animation which actually help how you are going to provide. Coming second part about your what type of content you are going to do, right? So for example, if you want to convince and if you want to convey to employee about incident management, how they are going to raise the incident, how they are going to observe the incident, right? Your content is different because it's completely technical. And I always say the security awareness is change behavior of the employee. So you have to do infrequently basis, because if we will not do, or if you will not organize, what happen? Automatically, slowly it will your impact completely miss. That means behavior completely change. So you have to do it frequently basis. You have to look into where is the gap, and according to this, you have to organize and develop your content, and you can provide to your employee.
All right. Okay. So my same question to Mr. Ramkumari sir is that what regular cybersecurity training and awareness are there for employees, and how updated they are according to the recent threats, and how do you understand the effectiveness of the trainings that you have for your employees?
So my inclusion of this, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So my inclusion is, first of all, I add to the points what the previous speaker was talking about. You should also have an part of the induction training. This is very, very important because it is not only for the already existing employees, it is also for the new employees to embrace the information security program that is running in the organization. So that will really give a kind of a success in terms of implementing this kind of a programs. Then, of course, not only the kind of tips and simulations and other things, you can also have some kind of a role play sessions, because cyber security as such in any organization is a kind of a vague or an optional kind of a thing to the employees or to the stakeholders. To make it very interesting, typically you should really do some kind of a role play sessions, maybe not every month or something else, at least every quarter. So that will create a lot of interest, and people start getting involved in that. So this one of this change in one of the client plays has really helped me in embracing to the leadership as well as to all the stakeholders in terms of the training effectiveness. So when it comes to training effectiveness, metrics plays a very important role. Of course, you should have the kind of a metrics in terms of how many people are joining and maybe post sessions, pre-sessions. So this kind of an assessments will really help in terms of how effective it is, how people are understanding about the kind of different policies or programs, procedures and other things. Another important thing is we implement a lot of policy processes in the organization, but to be very effective, you should have typically train the people. It is very important, not only from the employees, it is also users, your partners, your suppliers, all your stakeholders has to be trained. All of them have to be taken as a equal importance. That will really create a lot of success in terms of information security program effectiveness. So put some kind of a metrics and see that where do we stand, and so that we can really improve upon as a continuous improvement. So this all couple of things, whatever has been implemented in some of my earlier clients, I think it has really worked, and it has also improved the effectiveness and resilience of cybersecurity program in the organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, ma'am, for highlighting such an amazing point that it's not just one segment of the company, but like everybody. Even you talked about the vendors and people who are the third parties, how they also should be coming in this blanket of security. Completely agree. Yes.
Yeah, another important point. Another important point I wanted to add is
Yes.
not only vendors and other things. It is also the support functions, as you were mentioning. The HR,
Yes.
Recruitment people, business development people, marketing, sales. So these are also very important, because see, we normally concentrate on some part of the segment and try to implement such kind of a programs, and then we tell that either people are not following it or they don't understand things. But how are we embracing this? You have to really create a lot of interest, because of late, for the last at least 3 years, 4 years, I am seeing cybersecurity is becoming very important and mandate in a lot of places. Till the time it was like an optional. Okay, if time permits, I will do it. Otherwise, I will not do it. Right? But
Right.
now at least it is because of the lot of threats and other things coming in. Every minute, you know that there are certain.
Right. Right.
So it's important that you take the entire team, all the stakeholders, even in the organization, from all the support functions, all the stakeholders. That is very, very key for the success of this program. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
You're welcome, ma'am. You're welcome. My next question is to Navi sir. What are the key cybersecurity priorities communicated by the management to the employees?
Yeah. Good afternoon, friends. Let me try to add to what our friends have been talking about. Okay. See, first of all, when we talk of prioritization, now we should look at cybersecurity as not only a technology related function. Okay. So we have to understand that at least there are two other dimensions. Of course, I am mostly concerned with the legal dimensions of security, and of course, the human dimension of security. See, security without motivation of the people who have to implement it is will not work. Okay, we can give them all the tools, but People may not use it. You may talk about password policies and they will know how to bypass it. So without motivation, security will not work. Okay. Then security is actually mandated by law. And if we forget that, then we are getting into an area where it is like operation successful, patient died kind of a situation. Okay, so we may be satisfied with our tools and other things, but ultimately liabilities may come. Okay, so this is why prioritization has to start for the top management with what is the legal mandate, and then go to how do I have this legal mandate fulfilled by an appropriate technology, and then how do I convert this technology into something which is adopted by the people. It's not adopted by the company. Company will very easily adopt. If I have got money, I can get the best tools purchased. But people to adopt, that requires this motivation. We also talked about the awareness and the training. But training and awareness can only take the horse to the pool kind of a thing. If you want to make them drink or adopt, then you need to have acceptance. Okay. Conversion of awareness into acceptance is the motivation part, which is actually a HR part. Now, whether as a CISO, I am capable of understanding that there are human related blocks which I have to remove is the issue. So as a CISO, I have to be an expert in managing personal relationships also. So instead of saying that, okay, HR person will do it, I have to be the HR person as far as this is concerned. Now, if there is a need for incentivization and disincentivization, I have to do it. Okay. Now, while doing this kind of an exercise, one important thing is how do we convey the risk perception to the persons? See, we always identify risk with the organization. I am a CEO or something, I am worried about the organization. But the person who is there to be motivated, he is not that much bothered about the risk of the organization. He wants to know what is my risk profile. Okay. Now, unless he sees, like we say, what is in it for me, in the risk also, the person should realize that what is the kind of risk I will suffer. Of course, if the organization suffers a big penalty, it should apply. Now, that is where disincentivization becomes an essential policy of a good security policy. It may not be popular, but there has to be sanctions. People should understand that if I am not following these security policies, there will be consequences. So these are some of the priorities which we have to reset in our traditional thinking of security. Back to you, and I can add later if any other points are there.
Yes, Navi sir, well articulated. I think the fact that motivation is very important from the leadership point of view. We have to keep motivating the employees, and if they don't do as they are told, then they have to suffer the consequences so that there is a change in the organization and there is a change in the mindset of people that, you know, this is something serious and we actually have to work for this. All right. So my next question is to Rushabh sir. So how is security integrated into the organization's overall business strategy?
Thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity as well. First of all, I would respect all the previous panelists. They almost answered this particular question. However, I come from a technology startup background. So for me, integrating cybersecurity across the functions is very paramount. Why do I say that is because we are a technology product company. So what happens is our product is considered to be the center of what our business objectives revolve around. In that case, we rely on several teams. We rely someone who is there as a part of the procurement team, the sales team. Then we rely heavily on our software development team, our product security team, our product engineering team, our R&D team, and all of them. So how do we go about it? So usually we provide them the playbooks, the security playbooks, which are nothing but in a very layman terms, our security requirements and the controls been translated into the layman technical and business language, which those respective business leads and the heads can understand. We list them down and provide them that what they have to do it in return for us. And over a periodic basis, be it monthly or quarterly or semi-annually, we go ahead and review those matrices. We go into the conversations with them by presenting them the quarterly business reviews, half yearly business reviews, and let them know where do you stand in security requirements and aspects that are required to be carried out as the bare minimum baseline, be it hardening guidelines, or it could be the software security coding practices that needs to be adapted, or even it could be the release life cycle has to be vetted through all the kind of the security gateways and the requirements. Then any kind of the vulnerabilities that has to be addressed and needs to be patched as per the SLA that we would have committed to our particular customers. Are those getting integrated well in time or not? And those are being effective or not? So all of them we then track basis on the KPIs that we have it in place. Then we present them the scorecard during our quarterly business reviews and half yearly business reviews. We let them know that where they stand in the organization. So usually the trend that we have set is, let's say suppose there are 20 VPs in an organization across several departments or the functions. Nobody wants to be at the last. So if nobody wants to be at the last, they will try not being at the last, they will try doing something. In return, we will have their commitment and dedication in terms of they patching the vulnerabilities on a timely manner, they helping us reporting any kind of the security issues and incidents, they acknowledging and signing up and approving and signing off any kind of the playbook requirements that we have disseminated with them. So that is how we try gaining their confidence and letting them know. See, at the end, we need to understand that business comes first always. So our release life cycle is literally on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, if someone is releasing any kind of a feature update or any particular aspect, vulnerabilities are bound to occur in any kind of the release. Now it is our job to make them understand by the analysis how critical those vulnerabilities are, and on a timely basis why they need to be remediated. If they are not getting remediated, what are going to be the repercussions? It is our duty and our onus and the accountability to make them realize the consequences about those aspects in a very layman term, in a very business aspect, so that they understand and prioritize in their roadmaps. Because when we say that security is everybody's responsibility, we are forgetting every other aspect. Like, let's be very honest, even beyond information security, there are several aspects which are everybody's responsibility. Mental health is everybody's responsibility, environmental is everybody's responsibility, social is everybody's responsibility, right? Finance management is everybody's responsibility. How many of us are really aware about what our company is doing on social aspect, what our company is doing on environmental aspect? How many of us are really aware about what we are doing on finance aspect? At least what my observation is, personally speaking, we being on information security time, we also neglect various other areas which are really critical and paramount for everybody. It's everybody's responsibility and everybody's accountability, and everybody needs to be knowing. But somehow we don't. Why? Because we are not motivated, we are not encouraged, because that's not our primary focus area. Inherently, the same applies to the other people as well. Human psychology says whatever is not meant for me, I'm not going to be prioritizing that. So then that's where we need to make them understand that it is not about you alone, it is about everyone, why it is critical important for them. Thank you. Over to you.
I'm actually taken aback by your answer. That it's completely true. We are focusing on what is important for us, instead of focusing on all the things which are actually going to benefit others and give a complete kind of security to every aspect, not just cybersecurity, but like, as you mentioned, environment. Who is taking the responsibility of environment, right? Who is taking the responsibility of finance? So everything is important and everything has its own place of importance. nothing can be given, can be compared. Everything has to be going in balance. So completely agreed, sir. Now, moving to the next question, that nowadays data has become very important. Data is the new oil, as they say. So Ramkumari ma'am, I have this question to you, that when it comes to data, employees are handling a lot of data. They're sharing, they're storing, and they're transmitting data with each other as well as with clients and other people. So what are the policies that are in place when it comes to data? How employees should be, imbibing this security aspect when it comes to handling of data and sharing it, or even saving it from any kind of data breaches? Are they aware of it? I want to know.
Yes, this is very important from the data governance perspective, right? So, governance of, I understand that the data is a kind of a new oil and everybody talks about it. They wanted to massage data and they wanted to do the kind of a proper process. But it is very important that whoever is dealing with data at least have some kind of awareness about the kind of a security aspects. So, as all my colleagues are talking, and lastly, also I spoke about the awareness and everything. It is very important that, it is not one person's responsibility.
Right. Yes. I think we lost Ramkumari ma'am. Okay. Abhilasha ma'am,
People can imbibe.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead. I think there's some network issue. Abhilasha ma'am, can you answer the same regarding data?
What kind of perspective you are looking for, like from me, related to data? How employees are using it, or what kind of security controls we need to keep on? Okay. So, as per my understanding, I see that many experienced panelists, Navi sir is here, Rushabh is here, Mohsin is here. So, uh, what I see now scenario is that the applications which are designed, which users are using in our organizations, the employees are using in our organization, we have to first control that what kind of access we have given to those applications, because it might sometime we see that the applications are knowing more than what they are expected to be. So let's say we have using Copilot in our environment nowadays. Most of the companies are having that license. Now we have to see that to whom we have given the access, because at the end those applications are accessing data. And if we are not having a proper security control, proper access mechanism, proper roles assigned to the people, those who are using and accessing the data through these applications, that will create a problem. And because of that only, there are a lot of compliance policies, data loss protection policies, record management, all these kind of strategies are come into play, so that organizations will make sure that the everything is in under control and access is given to the authorized person only. But the lack of awareness, lack of training, lack of skill in the employees is a major concern, that data loss is happening, unauthorized access are happening, confidential data is a breach. So all these things are happening because of lack of skilled people. Features are there. I'm sure that Navisa will also agree, because he's a very well-known, I can say that in security, I've attended many sessions from him also. When he talk about compliance and all, those things, if you're not aware of, you're not able to implement those things, then the problems will occur. So there are various way of protecting these things, because data, as you mentioned, is the major thing. Data is like blood which is in the vein of the organization, so we have to very very cautious when we are giving access to that's the point which I want to make. And apologies for joining little late, everybody.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you so much. It was actually quite valuable. Your point was really on point. Coming to Kamlesh, sir, I wanted to understand that what if an employee has, committed some kind of security, has caused a security issue. So, or even if there is any security issue in the organization, that you come to know or the organization comes to know, what are the reporting areas, or how the employee is actually going to report it and bring it to light about the incident?
Online always create a problem. Sorry for that. I think
Yes.
I'm just trying to add and taking example about Abhilasha point, right? So for example, we don't have a, we can say like your data governance framework, right? So because of, or you can say the lack of process, some employee did some mistakes because of some issue or some incident identified by that employee, or maybe you can say that error done by the employee. So how they are going to report? So definitely every organization must have your incident management process, and they have to actually implement. I have seen many organizations have a function-wise incident management process. Many organizations have, and mainly in big organizations, we have a separate team. They are going to support for any incident. They have also segregated operational types of incident have a different functions, and related to cybersecurity incident, they have a different function which completely managed by, you can say, cybersecurity team. The SOC team actually completely monitoring our whole environment. When they are identifying any anomaly, any error or any issue, they are going to actually raise the tickets. Maybe they are going to use your support team, or maybe they are going to use automatic tools which are available in market, and they are going to assign the particular assignment group and resolver group, right? So that tickets that you can say incident will not become orphan, right? But it's completely depends on organization, right? If you are working in a big organization, you have a huge budget, you can use a tool. If you are working in a small organization, mainly in startup, it's quite challenging. They are going to raise the incident through email. Sometimes they are going to call you, the particular person, please join the bridge, and trying to resolve the problem. Now the issue is in Saturday, Sunday, the guy is not going to join also. So how you are going to do? I'm adding Nagisar point, the policy, right? If someone trying to breach, what we have to enforce, we are going to give some incentive, or we are going to penalize somewhere. I have seen many organizations, they have already implemented, you can say, such flaws in employee, you can say, your rating system, your appraisal system. If you are reporting incident on time, you are not doing any you can say policy breach, you are not doing any error, then you will get +5 rating during appraisal cycle. If you are doing, right, you have to get -5, right? So according to this, you will get you can say appraisal. So we can do this, like such approach we can apply. Second part, it's completely depends on, but you have to have a framework. That we have a very fantastic framework, NIST, we can use, where we can apply. Second part, you can see the process. Second, we need some tools which actually helping to identify those incidents, those error, right? Now you can think like this: if one organization is having more than 10,000, 20,000 assets, it's very difficult for you to go for eyeball monitoring. So you need like SIM types of tool which provide clear visibility and also reduce your cost. Because if you have 5,000 assets, how you are going to monitor, right? We need more resource to monitor if you are going individually, right? So we need such tool, we can do this. And last but not least, that the tag is very important, security awareness session, right? Just I am giving example. When you are going to conduct any security awareness session related to phishing attack, what happened? After awareness session, you will start, you can say, your incident reporting will increase, right? So awareness session also required, your metrics also required, which Ramkumari ma'am already add those points. So all these parameters we have to embed in our process. That means 3 things you have to follow: people, process, and technology, which actually make our whole cyber posture robust.
Absolutely, sir. I think you summed it up. Yes. Okay. So my second last question to the entire panel, especially talking to Navi sir, when it comes to compliance, right? What are the regulatory requirements or industry standards does the organization follow, and how it is made, aware to the employees, and how it is ensured in the organization? Navi sir.
There are 2 kinds of regulations one needs to look at in the current scenario. One is applicable to the entire data. See, that is the Information Technology Act kind of a thing. And second is what is applicable to personal data. Okay, so GDPR and Indian DPDPA and other things. Today, of course, personal data protection is a new thing. So earlier we were talking of one framework for data protection. And of course, only those people who are looking at say law would look at ITA 2000. Otherwise, people will look at ISO 27001 or such business-oriented frameworks. But as I said, the prioritization is what the law requires. If law requires ISO 27001, it is fine. If it does not require, then obviously it is not going to be acceptable. That is more clear when you come to personal data, because personal data, you've got 140 countries, different legislations. So if you are following GDPR compliance, then it is not adequate for India. So therefore, you have to have something more. In terms of security, it may be possible to have some common standards, okay? That is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But I would like to add here, when we talk of authentication, let us say, now normally in an information security system, authentication is determined by, let us say, the CISO. Again, we use the term need to know basis. You provide access on a need to know basis. But who will decide that? It is the company which will decide. When we come to the personal data requirement, who will decide about authentication? It is the data principal who decides. He will convey something to the, let us say, data protection officer, and data protection officer under the consent management is supposed to implement it, which means authentication controls originate from the public. And it may be different from A, B, C, because each consent may be different. So that is a very major difference when you are structuring the information security for personal data. So this recognition is important. Now, when you go to some laws like Information Technology Act, what they say, you should have reasonable security. Okay, they will not go beyond that. So we have to determine what is reasonable, which obviously goes to the risk management. Okay, so you have to find out the risk, and what is necessary to cover the risk is what is considered reasonable. Okay, so then in the case of information security, you are looking at the risk to the company. You recognize it when there is a cyber crime. Okay, now do we look at the risk to the victim, or do we look at risk to the company? Most of the time, we look at the risk to the company. Okay, that is another area where some rethinking may be required. And personal data protection clearly forces you to look at the victim, because the whole system is based on getting a consent and looking at the harm caused to the data principal. In the general information security, it is not that clear. That is why when, let us say, there is a data breach, who is suffering the, for example, bank fraud or something like that. Customer has got last lakhs of rupees, but the bank is not bothered, because they will say that you are responsible, you gave away password, you gave away OTP, I am not bothered. Okay, so that mindset has to change, because the security of the whole system end to end is the responsibility of an organization. Okay, so there is some responsibility. To some extent, you should be able to, for example, I will say as a customer, you should take cyber insurance. So if there is no recklessness on my part, you should protect me. Okay, I am not a security expert. I am a common bank customer. So don't expect me to be security aware as much as, say, a CISO in your company. So don't tell me that you should have known about phishing, you should have known about phishing, all that this thing, because if everything was possible by just an awareness thing, then frauds would not happen to technology people. But we have seen frauds happen to CISOs, frauds happen to police persons. So there is something beyond mere awareness because the circumstances are like that. So we have to design our systems to anticipate this. It is like driving in India. Say, when you are driving in India, you expect somebody to come on the left and cross across. Okay, you cannot say, if you are an American driver, you may say he is not supposed to come. He will never anticipate. But an Indian driver always will anticipate that somebody will break the law. I have to be careful. Okay. So I think cybersecurity approach has to be like that. Expect that customers will make mistakes. They are not aware. So how do I cover that in my security? I think so. This one or two things I would like the traditional security people to think how they readjust their security perception. Okay. Thank you.
Great, sir. I think you explained it in the layman form. I think everybody must have understood it. You used examples which I think we sometimes fail to use so that people can understand. So that was very helpful. Mohsin, sir, my last question to you for this panel is that how employees can become a unified force by collaborating and communicating with each other in order to fight cyber crimes or cyber attacks that happens in an organization?
One of the key thing here is, first, many of the organizations, if you look at startups or small organizations, they are still behind. Though they talk about security as a first, they still lag behind the implementing full-fledged technology within their landscape, right? So understanding the key things that is there out in the cybersecurity world, it is very important here. And then second is making people aware of those technologies, right? In the organization, the employees, though the employees are in various different verticals, let's say example, product security is there, product team is there. Product team should aware of the product development, product security related aspects, right? If there are HR team, what are the security things which is applies to security as a function, they should aware of that. Individual has their own responsibility, individual has their own different things in terms of security to do that. So every individual should aware what they are, what they need to be done and all. That's the one of the most important thing that I can tell you.
All right, all right. That was a great point, sir. And it was amazing to get insights from all of you. You all have added points in different areas, and which at the end of the day contribute to the idea of cybersecurity in organizations. So I want to give a big thanks to each one of you and to my panel, to my attendees, for giving your innate experiences in terms of what you have seen in life and what you have experienced in your organization, and the knowledge with which you are coming here and sharing it with all of us. So I really want to thank you all. We hope the audience gained immense value from this session and would come again in the future to collaborate and to understand what the cybersecurity world holds. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Thank
What
you.
a great
Thanks a lot.
discussion it was. Thank you, Ruchi, Ramkumari, ma'am.
Yes, I want to add one more thing, that if any questions we can definitely take from the audience, if before we actually sign off. Are there any questions that people have? Because I think we have such an esteemed panel. I didn't want to miss out that all the knowledge that we can actually get from today's session. So please, we can have any questions if there are. Otherwise, we can definitely sign off. No. Okay, Deepak is saying no. All right, all right. No worries.
Ruchi, after lunch is quite challenging, right? Just kidding.
Yes, yes. Yes. All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, team.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.